ve'el eisheth, and into or towards a woman, or wife, or female, given is from Isha, and from Ish and Enosh, desperate man. However, considering Isha, as from Bereshith chapter 2, verse 23, this is when Yehova Elohim had taken from man a rib, remember, and made a woman. And Adam said on verse 23, Lezoth yikarei Isha, and this or she shall be called woman, ki meish lukacha zoth, for from man was taken this or her. And this is amazing because this is where he is like, wow, a woman, bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This is first time a woman is revealed unto him. And considering Lakech is perfect subdivision according to his instruction, divine order has set apart from man a more refined creation, and therefore a new beginning, Letechet. And therefore Isha, of the leader of the woman, Adam, and the leader who has desire, and is steadfast to her who is revealed. And in this case, he represents femininity, gentleness, empathy as understanding and entering into another's feelings. And aren't women amazing about this? We men suck at this. That's because they have the spirit. They can discern what's going in people's feelings, whether they're suffering or joyful. And that's why we should never grieve the spirit. He is a person, and we know women that they're very sensitive. And he also represents humility. But in this verse, it refers of the wife of thy associate, Amithecha, of thy fellow, another. And we covered these already previously, you may remember, Alleluia, from Pros Galatas, chapter 6, verse 15 and 16. And in this case, to refresh your memory, this letter Ayin could have an evil or a good eye, looking on its left, Samech, in support of the poor, or on the right with an evil eye to letter Pei, how it might consume for itself in greed and envy. And therefore of the womb, and a congregation, body whether good or evil, it depends, and a stamp. And it depends, before it says, watch out, you bite and devour one another, but in this case is telling you and me, watch out, that you, lo thitain, you would not yield, grant, set or put, and is not then, a seed that is miscarried, or failure of a plan. And to complete the downward flow of letter Nun, reproductivity. And this is a downward flow of divine power, given that from God is life, isn't it? But is to yield to what? Not evil yet, because it says, Shechavetecha. The text reads carnally, or to lie. And he refers that of copulation, of carnal knowledge. But it's interesting that is from shachev, to lie down, to sleep as to rest. Given letter Shin represents serenity, to sleep, and therefore to tame the tent, our bodies who crave for rest. But in the text, it keeps reading, Lezare, sowing of thy seed. It's not mentioned in the King James Version, but reading in the original, it refers to seeds and offspring. Zere, in plowing, given the power to procreate and begin, letter Resh, and Ayin is an extended Yod, the power of God, that once you plow, it represents the primeval light, having existed from the beginning. And he speaks of spiritual awareness. Seeds are alive as anything in life. Even rocks have spiritual life in it. Remember, It is not of that, they will pray and things like that. It is according to God's law. He has made everything that is ruled in the Spirit. He is Spirit. He's not limited by, he has to follow the laws of gravity, the laws of electromagnetism, chemistry, atoms. No! Yehovah is unbounded by anything. He speaks it forth and brings about something amazing. However, in this case, it concerns all of it seems so far good, but what happens is לטמאה, to defile with her. So it's not only concerned about her, but yourself as well, to be unclean, tamei, in mud and blood and open chaos, given the power of the bull god. Not the bulldog, by the way, is the bull god, the new master. And why do I refer to bull god? Because if we keep going, verse 21, umizerecha, and from any seed of yours. And isn't this amazing? Because we just cover zere, therefore miscarrying a plan for this life. What happens to these children that are born with a failure of a plan, and even including children that are born with a plan? But what happens? Lo thitein, not to give, and letter tav in this case is life or death. What is being completed is lehe'evir, to pass over, to bring, to carry, aver, in shadowing with the body to the top, le Molekh. This is a god of the Ammonites and Phoenicians, to whom parents sacrificed their children. That is mean, isn't it? And Molekh means king, but in this case is different from Melech, given evil waters of foes and external passions. And looking at letter Mem, it is a Chav where the left side is covered via Vav. And the Cholam represents Bithul, a speck. This king is not a great thing, is nothing. However, the Vav lifts up. Did you have to imagine what I'm talking about like an animation? But when the Vav rises up over Chav, you have letter Lamed. What follows? It's almost like ready for sacrifice, and then letter Chaf Sofit is the open hands of Molekh receiving the sacrifice of the poor children. Velo techhalel, and not to profane, to defile or pollute. And this of profanity is of vulgar or irreverent lack of respect to God, and causing cursings, not only of speech but of actions as well. And Chalel, separated given the sin, the perfect order and protection of Shem, the name, the renown, the glory. Shem, the eternal flame, and the concealed waters. Of Elohecha, Elohim, the leader who has set everything in perfect order, and breathes after to work the concealed word. Eni Yehovah, from Anochi, the leader who has already set the seed, who will have the power of forgiveness and will open this work, Yehovah, who works and has set in breathing after the sacrifice of his presence in his people. And therefore, he first of all warns them about carnally lying and sowing with another woman that is not your wife. And couldn't we also defile the spirit as well? If we depreciate the fruitfulness of what God can work about if you're willing to plow, that the spiritual awareness will bring forth fruit, nothing. That you may not defile yourself in being mudded, in serving Molekh, and now presenting in sacrifice what could have been the downward flow of the power of God, His divine light, in bringing forth life. that you may not be set apart and far away from him, from his protection, and therefore chaos will come. Fear ShemuEl inni Yehova, who in his power has the eternal flame and the concealed waters. Fear Yehova, and have his presence with you always, that you may not defile yourself in acts or speeches and even evil imaginations, but be holy, for he is holy. And Ruach, I am so sorry, for at times I don't even realize that I've caused you grief. You are gentle, you are tender, you are sensitive, and if I want to learn humility, I need to stoop down and ask you for forgiveness. I never realized how foolish I have been in life, and now been led away in passions. Serving a god like Molekh leads to destruction and far away from the protection of Elohai. He has set everything in perfect order. Oh, Yehoshua, thank you for dying for me, for thou wert perfect, in bringing about from tame to cleanness, into wholeness. And now I'm in the period of grace, for which I can be thankful, and in sharing the good news, Eucharistia, that many more will come out of the power of the devil, of his minions who wants to mess up with thy plan, but no one will prevail. Only help us mature and bring about thy divine power, to bring glory to ShemuEl, Yehova. Amen. And towards a woman of hate thou shalt not yield to carnality, that the sowing be not defiled by stamping it unto death, in passing it over Molekh, that thou profane not ShemuEl inni Yehwa. אלהיך עמיתך לא תיתן שכבתך לזרע לטמאה בך, ומזרעך לא תיתן להעביר למולך, ולא תחלל השם אלוהיך.